Alright, now this is kind of out of nowhere because I didn't anticipate buying a $6,000 camera, but here I am with a $6,000 camera. This is the R3, and you heard that right. At the time of this recording, it goes for $6,000. Now, to be fair, I did pick it up on Facebook Marketplace, so it was a little bit cheaper, and I also sold one of my R6s, so I didn't feel the full weight of the $6,000, but this is still the most expensive camera that I have ever owned in my 8 years of doing this. So is it worth it? Now, I wouldn't be making this video reviewing it if I didn't already test it. I brought it to two 10-hour weddings, one that was primarily photos and one that was primarily video. And we have a lot to talk about when it comes to this camera. Now let's get into it. My first impressions of the R3, that it's surprisingly lighter than it should be. This is how it's built. It's not an extra attachment or a grip or a battery pack. This is how it comes straight out of the box. It comes with two grips, both horizontal and vertical, with buttons that correlate with each one. Now, I was expecting something more rugged, heavy duty, and feels like a brick in my hands, but this is surprisingly pretty light for its size. Now, when pairing this camera with the heavy RF lens like the 85 1.2, that's when you start to feel more of the weight. Now, another reason it's built this way is because it doesn't use the traditional Canon batteries. It uses these LPE19 batteries as opposed to the LPE6 batteries that are standard through all the other Canon cameras. This camera, as well as cameras like the 1DX, use these bigger, chunkier batteries. Now, I have two of these batteries and I haven't found the need to need any more than that. I found that it lasts all day no matter if I'm shooting photo or for video. Now, when I really felt the weight is when I put it on a gimbal. Yes, you can put this on a gimbal. I put this on the Ronin RS2 and the RS3. Now, I do recommend the Pro versions, the RS2 Pro and the RS3 Pro, because it'll be able to handle a lot more weight. Now, making the R3 with a gimbal all day really is an arm workout, and you really start to feel that weight. I find it especially heavy when shooting in portrait mode on the gimbal. I don't do this often, but whenever I did, it was just extremely top heavy, and I could feel the motors really working. Now, that being said, this camera is really a true hybrid camera. I say true hybrid cameras because there are some false hybrid cameras out there. The camera I'm throwing shade at is the R5ii. Now, I would consider that camera more of a video camera with a few photo options to it. Now, in order to use something like the R5ii effectively for both photo and video, you'll need a battery pack, you'll need an external monitor, you'll need a rig, and it makes it really difficult to do the photo side of it when you have all those video components. The R3, however, is the true hybrid camera, where it can do photography as well as the heaviest video work as well. When it comes to the photography, you can shoot 30 frames per second on electronic shutter. Not that you ever need to. And for some reason, if you need to shoot even more, you can shoot at a speed of 195 frames per second, but only in a burst of 50 shots. Now, to me, that sounds a little bit like a marketing scheme, but it's still pretty impressive. Speaking of marketing schemes, this camera tracks your pupils. No, not eye tracking. It actually tracks your pupils. Whenever you look into the camera will shift the focus selector wherever you're looking. Anywhere you're looking, you can focus that quickly. At first, when I first saw this, I did think this was going to be a marketing scheme, something to sell the cameras, but after using it, it works surprisingly well. Now, I will say you shouldn't rely on the pupil tracking. It's not 100% precise, especially if things are moving quickly and your subject is moving. It's not the best in all case scenarios. And if you're shooting video and you use the LCD screen a lot more, this might be a feature that you might not really use as much as you think you would. Now, whether it's a marketing scheme or not, it is pretty cool when you look through that viewfinder and you see that yellow point move around exactly where you're looking. Next, let's talk about the low light. The low light on here is very good. Take a look at some of these clips from the wedding I shot last weekend with this R3. As the sun was setting down, it was getting real dark. We had a small video light, but it looks really good. I found that in this camera, just like the R5 and the R6, C-Log 3 looks best in intervals of 800, such as 800, 16, 32, 12-800, and so on. It has so many custom buttons and dials to configure the settings and to create your own unique shooting experience. It's got physical buttons for drive modes and metering modes, and it also has that same LCD screen such as the R and the R5. It's got the same mode screens up top like the R and the R5. After using the R5 and the R6 for so long, I'm so used to the traditional Canon layout, and so I do find myself a little lost because things are slightly different on here. It's not too much of a hassle, but it's just things like where the playback button is or where the delete button is. Things like that is just in a slightly different place, so I find myself taking a second look and remembering where it is. Now, those are all fairly positive things about the camera. Let's get into some of the negatives. There's two things that really annoy me about this camera and a lot of other Canon cameras, and I feel like it's something that Canon can fix so easily. The first is the fact that the dual card slots are not the same. Now, this is also a problem that the R5 has, but there's one CF Express and one SD. I understand why a professional body like this needs a CF Express card, but when you're adding an SD card along with the CF Express card, it just limits the dual recording capabilities to the slower card, which in most cases is the SD card. The whole point of having two SD card slots is either to dual record or to continuous record, and either one of those things are limited because of the SD card slot that's a lot slower than the CF Express. It'll only be as good as its slowest card. Just give us two CF Express cards, or do what Sony did with the A1 and give us two CF Express cards with the option to also do SD with the same port. The other thing that I'm convinced Canon does this just to drive us crazy is they still don't have a full-sized HDMI. This is a professional camera. A full-size HDMI is something that we need, and I still don't understand why they insist on using these micro HDMIs. If I'm spending $6,000 on a camera, you can at least give me a full-size HDMI. There's not too many negatives I can think about when it comes to this camera so far, but those are some of the things that annoy me. I do think the positives outweigh the negatives. The absolute best feeling when shooting with the R3 is just knowing that it can handle any situation that you throw at it. I don't have to think about whether it'll hit focused, or if it'll overheat, or if the battery will die. I just know that all day, whatever I do, this will be able to handle it. And in my opinion, that is the biggest advantage to this camera. The fact that you don't have to worry about all these other things and you can just focus on getting your shot. Whenever buying a new piece of gear, especially if it's a big jump from what you've been using prior, you get that drive to shoot and to create. I feel like this is the high that I've been riding for the past 3 weeks. Holding this camera makes me feel about that 2018, 2019 era when I was watching Peter McKinnon videos and I saw him bring his 1DX all over the road, and I had that feeling of, man, that camera can do anything. And almost 6 years later, here I am sitting here owning a very similar camera to that. So moving forward, this will be my main camera. What I shoot my business with, what I shoot my YouTube with, any content I have, it'll be the R3. We'll see if it lives up to the price tag long term or if I end up regretting it. But that's all I have for you guys. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to check out the R3 or any of the other gear I use, I have links down in the description below. To the 5 people still watching, I'll see you next time.